Alright, what's good, fellas? We should be live now. Let's just get this bad boy set up, and then we can begin. Hold on a second, everybody. Alright, we should be set up. Now, let me just open the stream back up so I can access the chat and whatnot. What's good, Rob? Hello, my father. Hello, Nick. Welcome. Alrighty, so we will be watching two games here for Week 16, and we're only doing Week 16 today. Not team schedule. We want league schedule. So, the two games I got voted on, I'm a little bit surprised they won. We had the Steamers and Sentinels, which is a weird one. But we've only seen the Steamers once, and they've been red hot since. So I am intrigued to see what they're made of. And then the other game is the Jaguars and the Cardinals. Jags are fighting for their lives to get a playoff spot. Cardinals as well, although I think they have the better shot. Did I make Keaton the starter? Yes, I did. And I did switch his position to quarterback. I assume you approve of this. If not, let me know now. But I switched his position to quarterback just so we can actually see like his numbers, because if his listed position was a punter, we wouldn't be able to see his stats. So he won't be punting as long as he's playing quarterback, unless you don't care about his numbers. Because with Brian Amaya's first start last year that he won, he was listed as a punter, so we didn't get to see his stats. So if you win, you might clinch. I don't know if you clinch with a win today. I mean, it's possible. You certainly are in a much better position with a win today. Nick, the coach, approves this move. Bet. So, in the AFC, we've already had two divisions clinched, the Cougars and the Texans. We also have 5 other playoff spots up for grab. The Diablos could win the West today. That's fun. Dolphins and Pats fighting for the East, and there's a good shot that we have a team under 500 in the, well, probably not. There's a good shot we have an 8-8 team, at least one 8-8 team in the postseason. Because this is 7, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, yeah. So, if the season ended today, it'd be these 7. So, we've got to see what some of these under 500 teams can do. In the NFC is a little bit better. Got 4 10-win teams already. Only one has clinched a playoff spot, that being the Packers. How is your team doing? Well, you guys started off like 5-0, and then things went kind of south real quick, and now you're 8-6. Might not even make the playoffs after looking like the best team in the league for the first like 6-7 weeks of the year. So the Snowhawks are not on an upwards trajectory, but their hot start could still propel them into a playoff spot. Butker will take over punting duties. Fun. Alrighty, so who's home? I think the Sentinels are home. Let's see here. Yeah. Alright, so Memphis is 1 and Orlando is 2. Hey Siri, can you pick a number between 1 and 2? 1. Alright, so that means the Steamers. Sounds like for real life Seahawks. That's kind of true. I mean, Seattle is kind of on the downslope after their hot start. So, y'all just wait till Keaton leads Toronto to an OFL Bowl champ. What is he going to be doing, though? Is he going to be throwing passes, or is he going to be punting footballs? That's the question. Okay, this jersey combo was not half ugly, so we'll rock with it. Superstar X Factors, we got Michael Thomas, Khalil Mack, and the rookie Tyrone Gordon. Superstars, Kevin Byard, Lane Johnson, Josh Allen, and Mekhi Becton, all of whom play for the Steamers, who have won, I think, 9 in a row? Memphis has just been on a machine since Tyler got replaced, which is ironic, to say the least. Tyrone going to go ham. I wouldn't mind seeing him do well today. He's a fun player. All the Snowhawks need is a horrid defense in their set. Yeah. I mean, their point differential, I think, was like negative 50-something. So, I mean, there's that going for them. Week 16 action here. 2 more weeks left here of the regular season. And there are, what, 11 playoff spots up for grabs? Yeah, because the Texans, Packers, and the other team that clinched, that's not coming to me, the Patriots. No, wait, no, not the Patriots. The Patriots are 8-6. Who clinched in the AFC? Oh, the Cougars. The Cougars, the Packers, and the Texans have clinched, and there are 11 other spots up for grabs. So we'll see if either of these teams can get it. The Steamers should make the playoffs, barring something crazy, and the Sentinels will not make the playoffs, again, barring something crazy. So I think if Memphis wins today, they're in, and the Sentinels are out. And if Orlando wins, then, well, who the hell knows? Is this the first game taking place in Orlando? That's a really good question, because we've watched the Sentinels a good, like, 4 or 5 times this year. I don't think we've ever done it in Orlando, because I don't really recognize this stadium. That's a good observation. I did not notice that. Huh. Well, here's Jacob Eason leading the charge for the Steamers. He's had a pretty solid season. They've not ran the ball all that well. Their main starting running back is Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. They also have Giovanni Bernard as well. Ironically, in the Octagonal Fantasy League that I run, I just cut Giovanni Bernard for Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. So thank you to Crockett for putting him on waivers. I don't really know why, but you take what you can get. They're going to make the playoffs with Easton. I mean, the rest of their team's good. Their defense is really good. Kind of like the real-life Bears, which is ironic considering these guys were the Bears. And their coach was a Bears fan until he got fired. 3rd and 12, incomplete. I picked the Sentinels to win this game. I think they're better equipped for watch games because, I mean, Jacob Eason's like a 65 overall, and they don't run the ball all that well, so I don't know. I mean, Memphis has been the better team this year, and they are hotter than anybody in the league right now, but I don't know. I feel like the Sentinels are the better bet to win a watch game. I mean, Khalil Mack might just take over and get 4 sacks today, and then you can call it a day in favor of the Steamers, but who knows. Could be worse. You could be in the same league that let me pick up Lindsey and Gallup for 3. Oh, Crockett cut Clyde, Amari Cooper, and Jamison Crowder. I didn't get Crowder. I think Jose took him. But, I mean, I got Amari Cooper and Clyde Edwards-Hilaire for 3 pretty much. I think the receiver I dropped was Henry Ruggs, I want to say. I think Henry Ruggs is a good player, but he just hasn't put up the numbers this year. You'd like to think you have a good team for watch, but you guys are 0-3 in watched? Huh. I guess that makes sense. I don't remember you guys ever winning in a watch game. I'd never noticed that. Deep ball! And it's caught by one of the X Factor receivers. I think that's, no, that's Gordon. I was about to say, I think that's Michael Thomas, but it's Tyrone Gordon. A nice pass from Tua Tagovailoa for a gain of 30. Because Jose needs more help on his team. Me and Jose in that division is a dogfight right now. I think his team is better than mine, though, to be fair. But, I mean, he's just played better competition. And I've been able to win more games. I've been a little more luckier. But, I mean, his team in that league is stacked. So come playoff time, if I have to play him, then it's not going to be a fun matchup for us, I'll tell you that. There's the EA Sports pocket awareness. Tua loses 13. It's his former Alabama teammate, Daron Payne, who sacks him. EA pocket management. Just stand there for about 7 seconds. Don't look for an open receiver. Don't bother throw it away. Get sacked. And then on 3rd and 23, throw a dump off to the running back. That was actually kind of a smart play, though. Because now they're in field goal range, and Andrew Thomas is hurt. We play each other this weekend. I think I saw the projections. I think I'm projected to get like 126, and you're projected to get like 127. Like, it's ridiculously close. Just like that field goal was ridiculously close. I did not think it went in at first glance. That almost looked like it did not go in, but okay. Oh, you guys are 0-2? Still, I mean, I would have thought you'd have a watch win at this point. I feel like Smirnov is the type of quarterback who would be especially good and watched over Sim. If here's some quarterbacks were meant for Sim, some were meant for watch, I think Smirnov is more for watch because he can yeet it. Adams, Ridley, Fan. Oh, there are so many injuries in the league this week. Our injury report list is like stacked. Speaking of stacked, this Sentinels defense always looks stacked in watch games. J.C. Jackson with the pick. It has been all Orlando so far, but back to my point, I guess. There are so many injuries. Like, the Lions have honestly not gotten hit that hard by the injury bug this year, if I'm being totally honest. But our injury, I mean, literally our whole offense is on the injury report. Stafford's had the issue with his thumb. DeAndre Swift is probably not going to play now. Galladay's been hurt for a while. Hawkinson's hurt. Amendola's hurt. Our whole offense is literally injured. And the wild thing is, Carolina's probably going to be without both McCaffrey and Teddy this week. So, it's going to be our crippled offense versus their crippled offense. It's going to be really weird. That game's going to be ugly. And then we have to get back for Thanksgiving next week against the Texans. That game's going to be ugly. Smirnov has no interceptions. Yeah, I don't think he has any picks and watched. This is the biggest game of the year, and 2 of your solid pieces could be out. I mean, I don't have Christian McCaffrey still. McCaffrey's played like 3 games for me in that league, and he's been ridiculous in all 3 of them. Hold on, let me actually pull up my roster real quick. Is there anybody else who might not play? Oh, Galladay. I have Galladay on that team. He's probably not going to play if I were to guess. So there's another one. I think McCaffrey and Galladay were my picks. So that's fun. Oh, outside of that, I don't really have any other injuries. I mean, David Montgomery's hurt, but he's also on a bye week. Huh. Okay. I mean, still, our top 2 picks, that's not fun. As the Sentinels will extend their lead. That looks like one of the superstar receivers. That's Gordo! Tyrone Gordon from Tua Tagovailoa. And Orlando will take the lead. Have Russ, Aaron Jones, James Conner, Calvin Ridley, Adam Thielen, and DJ Moore. That was looking like a good list, and then I saw DJ Moore, and then it kind of took a turn. I mean, DJ Moore's a fine player. I'm kind of kidding. That's a good team. Yeah, I really did not expect James Conner to be as good as he's been. Aaron Jones. Oh, my word, it's a fumble. Okay, well, this has been a blowout. Last stream, both of the CPU teams won in blowouts, and today I made some changes to the sliders, and it seems like the CPU team, again, is winning in a blowout. Looks like this call might be overturned, but still, I mean, this has been all Orlando. Yeah, he's down. He's down. Right there. The knee's down, and he still has the ball. I mean, still, this game is not very close at the moment. Also, for what it's worth, the patch last weekend has Madden Super Sim games crashing. Like, whenever you end the game, the Super Sim game just crashes. Which is weird. That's why the stream kind of lagged out twice last weekend. It wasn't because of the internet or because of YouTube or anything. It was because of the new patch. I saw in FG's community post, he's had issues with that for his halftime shows. So I don't really know how we're going to manage that today. Hopefully that's not a reoccurring issue, because if that's the case, then, well, that's not going to be good.
Jacob Eason in at quarterback. His pass complete to Austin Hooper.
911, we need the police. Reporting a murder over here. Good run from Clyde. Your receiving core in fantasy is stacked. Well, good thing mine is. Okay, I guess I wouldn't call it stacked. I mean, who are we starting in that league? I think Keenan Allen and Justin Jefferson. I mean, that's a good duo. But I don't know if I'd call that stacked. Dite, Ridley, Metcalf, Christian Kirk, Gallup, and N'Keal Harry. You lost me at Gallup, and then N'Keal Harry has, like, done nothing the past month of the year. I am surprised he has, like, busted. I mean, N'Keal Harry's just nothing. I feel like the Patriots have drafted so poorly as of recently. We all know Bill Belichick is a mastermind, but he's, like, not that good of a drafter. He didn't draft all that well this year. I mean, Michael Menwu, the guard, is really good out of Michigan, but I mean, they did not draft that well this year. They didn't draft very well last year. The year before, I mean, they used a first-round pick on Sony Michel. That looks like an absolute flop. 2017, I don't even remember who their pick was that year. Yeah, the Patriots just have not been able to draft, and it's finally caught up with them this year. Really going to discredit my receiving core on the last two, and they aren't even starters. Yeah, it doesn't feel like they're starters on their own NFL team, let alone your fantasy team. I mean, Gallup is the wide receiver 3. I guess he is a starter. I mean, he's just been inconsistent when it comes to numbers this year. If his quarterback situation wasn't so shaky, and if he was the top guy, maybe he'd be doing more. Like, if the Cowboys got Jamal Adams, Gallup would probably be on the Jets, and he'd probably be putting up more numbers, considering the quarterback play would be better, and he'd be the main target. Maybe he wouldn't have as many big games, like he's had a couple in Dallas, but, I mean, at least he'd be regularly involved with a team like the Jets. At least you have consistency. Jacob Eason is 6 for 9. Nice.
First and goal at the 7-yard line.
Now we just can't let him throw another pass. And what does he do? He throws a pass. Get the sack so he keep the 6 for 9. Okay, we won't. Okay. Have Brandon Ayuk as a backup. Brandon Ayuk is a beast. I was a big fan of him last year out of Arizona State. A lot of people did not think he was going to go in the first round. I was on the Brandon Ayuk round 1 hype train since like February. And boom, I was right. I'm special. Really gonna... Oh, I already read that message. Throw an interception, please. That would be something. Yeah, you guys kind of need the Sentinels to win here, so... Yeah, Orlando winning would be a major help for the Cardinals.
Touchdown, Memphis. Dustin Hopkins on for the extra point. The kick is good. Makes the
Extra point is that was a 12-play drive, lasted almost 5 minutes. That was a long one.
Dustin Hopkins set to kick off.
Has Kelly Oubre been traded yet? There were reports coming out about an hour ago that he's probably going to Golden State. Is there like an official package of what OKC... Specifically, what picks is OKC getting? That's my question. Maybe that Timberwolves pick in the D-Lo deal. Steamers have a tiebreaker. They beat you guys. I don't really think Madden takes tiebreakers into account all that much, which is stupid. But, I mean, having the tiebreaker I think is important if Madden has gotten smarter about that this year. But from last year, at least in Madden 20, I noticed the tiebreakers were very inconsistent on whether or not... Oh, no, they don't make an effect this year because... When we were in week like 13, when the whole AFC West was 6-6, the Chiefs were in first place for the playoffs. But then when we were the only team who won the following week, the Raiders were ahead of the Chiefs in the wild card standings when they both lost. So I don't think tiebreakers matter this year, which is dumb. But I mean, Madden's gonna Madden. Is that DeAndre Swift? That is DeAndre Swift with a nice run of a 22. Why does Madden suck so much? That's a good question. And the sad part is that Madden does not seem like the next gen version, at least coming out this year, is gonna be all that good. At least from the trailer that they released the other day. I mean, the graphics look great. I see what they're doing with like some of their stats-based motions and stuff, but I mean, they're not doing any. They're going to have the few patches for franchise, but they're not giving it a big update, which, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm surprised, but would have liked an update. Tua has been dealing. He's 10 for 11 right now. He is cooking on this Orlando defense, on this Memphis defense today. Still not fully used to these teams. It's still kind of weird. Decided to say screw it, drop N'Keal Harry in favor of Darius Slayton. That's probably a good pickup. I think that's probably a good pickup. Slayton's been I mean, Slayton, you could argue, is the most talented receiver on that team. I mean, I'd probably give it to Sterling Shepard. But after Shepard, I mean, I'd probably say Slayton is second, and it seems like the Giants' offense, specifically Daniel Jones, is starting to play a lot better. So, I think that should help Slayton going forward. 3rd and goal there, stopped. Memphis with a big play. So that's going to force the field goal unit here. It will remain a one-score game. It does not look like we will have a blowout that we simulate right into the first half, just like we had in both games last stream for weeks 14 and 15. Kurt Gallup, Slayton on the bench. That's not too shabby. Not too shabby.
They'll take over 1st down and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
Memphis has been down fairly convincingly this whole half. Now they have a chance to take the lead. Why does Madden have base standings on? What do you mean? I am
Intended for Giovanni Bernard. Incomplete. It's now 2nd and 10 at the 25-yard line.
2nd and 10, a short pass for, I assume, Clyde Edwards-Helaire to the 33. That is still a very fun name to say. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And it rolls off the tongue nicely. 1st down for Easton and Crew to the tight end, whoever that is. I don't know these rosters fully well. Going with Tannehill, Lindsey, and Schultz, and the defenses I chose not to play. Defense is like plural.
Eason's pass complete to Giovanni Bernard. A gain of 13.
What does Madden use as a tiebreaker? I imagine they probably do what we do. They ask Siri to pick a number between 1 and 2, and whichever team is 1 or the number that's picked gets the tiebreaker. So if I were to guess, that's how Madden does it. Just totally random. Easton with some nice pocket awareness, doesn't throw it away, and instead is sacked, and there's only like 20 seconds left. And now he tries to chuck a bomb, but is hit.
Intended for Anthony Miller.
2 defenses that you use, the Bills and the Cardinals.
Jabril Peppers on the coverage. Eason's pass.
Alright, so it looks like the Sentinels will keep the lead going into the half, and it looks like it'll be 13-7. I doubt Orlando's gonna do anything else crazy. I think the Sentinels do start the ball in the second half. I could be wrong about that. I could be very wrong about that. But I feel like they start the ball. Oh, what a punt! Down at the 6. What a punt!
1st down and 10 at their own 6-yard line.
So with only 10 seconds left, they're just going to run out the clock, as they should.
Leonard Fournette on the carry.
So that will end the first half. We got ourselves a good game. The Sentinels currently upsetting the Red Hot Steamers 13-7. We'll see if the Steamers' 9-game winning streak will come to a close and if Orlando can stay alive in the race. Woj just tweeted the Utah Jazz are trading Ed Davis in 2023 second-round picks to the Knicks. Wow. Game-breaking stuff right there, Woj.
His guys take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
Orlando does start the ball. There we go. So they have a good shot to make it a 2-score game here. I think for the prop bet, I said yes for $5 that it would stay within one possession because both of these teams have good defenses, and I think I ended up being a good use of my money. Love how Woj leaves out the player they're trading for. Well, maybe they're not getting a player. Maybe it's just that the Knicks are taking on the contract of Ed Davis, and because of that, they're getting a couple other second-round picks. So that might be it. Maybe they're giving somebody to Utah, but that just might be the Jazz trying to unload a contract and giving the Knicks a couple picks out of it. Did it the Cowboys defense? Found out very quickly that they sucked. Yep. Have a lot of games to get through. I think the Hornets drafted well for the first time in forever. But Hornets have done a solid job in recent years. I mean, P.J. Washington's a good player. Miles Bridges is a good player. Devontae Graham, obviously, it looks like a steal. Rock chalk. So, I feel like they kind of had to swing for the fences last night. LaMelo was a very easy choice for them. And they did pretty solid in the second round. So, I mean, if LaMelo pans out to what we think he can be, I mean, Charlotte has a very solid core going forward. Didn't Orlando take a 13-0 lead at one point? They took a... Oh, they were up 10-0. Oh, shoot. I don't think it was 13... No, I don't think it was 13-0. I think it was 10-0. We can probably check. How did I word it? That's the question. Game remains within one possession. Oh. Yeah, so I guess the answer is no. So, that's a net loss of like $10. Yay. Well, that's fun. Melo, obviously very talented. Vernon Carey is solid. Vernon Carey was really good at Duke, but the question is, will he translate to the modern game? Hence why he was taken so low. I mean, I don't know why we took Isaiah Stewart at 16, who has the same concerns, but oh well. Other than that, Troy Weaver's been a mastermind so far in his first off-season leading the charge. Gain 2 from that. Yeet! Steamer's going to punt it, so both defenses start with some stops. Kind of figured this would be a defensive game. I mean, the Sentinels' defense is always good and watched, and the Steamers' defense is one of the more talented ones, so not too surprised about that. But if I'm Memphis, or if I'm Orlando, keep Tua going and try to feed DeAndre Swift the football. I think Tua still only has 1 or 2 incompletions. Yeah, 13 for 15. Vernon Carey offense inside will translate. His three-pointer looks like he can develop. I mean, in the paint he'll be fine, but I mean, players like that only have so much value in the modern NBA, so. Hence why I was surprised Udoka went round 1. Not that I'm complaining. I love to see Udoka going that high, and I think the Jazz makes sense. I think he can be a good backup for Rudy Gobert, and if Rudy Gobert is gone next offseason, maybe he can develop and be the starter there long term. But there were a lot of, like, throwback centers that were drafted last night, like, earlier than expected, which was kind of surprising. Maybe teams are looking for more interior centers again. I don't really know. We'll see. 21 hours after it happened, still trying to figure out if you like us picking Okoro. I mean, Okoro has potential, and he's a very good defender. It's just an offense that is a question mark with him. So, I mean, they took 2 score-first guards in their previous 2 drafts, so I see what they're doing by trying to prioritize defense now, which I do think is fairly smart, but I probably wouldn't have picked him that high. Would have picked Denny or even Killian Hayes if I was the Cavs, just because that's better value. And Yeke Kungwu would have worked too. Never like defense-first guys in the lottery because they're always like if their offense develops, and it never does except for Kawhi. Yeah, but they're still a very good defensive player. I mean, even if Isaac Okoro is never that good of an offensive player, he'll probably still have a solid role in the NBA as a role player. Maybe not worth like a top 5 pick, but still a guy who can have a role on an NBA team for the next decade and a half. So defense does technically win. Well, I mean, that was the same 5 years ago. Now I feel like it's a little bit of the opposite, especially in football. Basketball, it's just, I would say, superstars win championships pretty much. Did anybody score in that quarter? Nope. That was a very quick quarter, too. 13-7. Sentinels are still up. You do not go for role players in the first round. I disagree with that. I mean, if they're the best player on your board, then you take them. Maybe at pick 5 it's a little bit too early, but when we get like after pick 10, you're just looking for guys who can get minutes for you. Like after the 10th pick, like from picks 11 to 30, that's 20 players. Maybe 5 of them are going to be good starters in the NBA. So at that point, you're just looking for role players. Maybe you go for a flyer on a guy who has a high ceiling, but for the most part, outside of the top 10 picks, you're pretty much looking for role players across the board. He really had it past midfield and barely got it inside the 20. Oof. Steamers' offense has been not very good today, but they've had the door open for a while, and they need to try to capitalize, or else this could be a bad loss for them. That could really hurt their playoff chances. Kawhi and Giannis were picked 13th to 15th. Adebayo was picked after 10. I mean, you can certainly get great players after pick 10. That's certainly true. But the likelihood of getting one is very unlikely. So we'll see. Doubt Cleveland was trying to pick a role player at 5. I mean, you're probably right. I mean, if Okaro becomes a good offensive player, then he'll become a major cornerstone, which I imagine he already is a major cornerstone. But at worst case, he'll be a good role player who can be one of the better defenders in the league, even if his offensive game is never above average. As that's going to be a strip sack, and it's picked up by Marquise Blair. So a major turnover, and the Sentinels now have another shot to make it a 2-score game here. Will they finally do it? After 15, you can go for role players. I mean, look at Marcus Smart. I mean, Marcus Smart was like the 6th overall pick. He's never developed into anything more than a role player, but he's not viewed as a bust at all because he's a very good role player. He fits what they need. Even if he's never going to be a guy who puts up more than 12 points per game, he gives that team exactly what they need. So, and especially in a weak draft like this year, if Isaac Okaro develops into what Marcus Smart has been, I'm not saying they're all that similar, but if he develops into what Marcus Smart is for the Celtics, then that would be good, I think, for Cleveland, probably.
It's a gain of 2. Brings up 3rd and 3.
3rd and 3. They got to punch it in here, and Fournette does not get it. These offenses do not want to try today. These offenses are just not good. Top 3 seed being pretty good. Well, obviously we expect the big 3 of Edwards, Wiseman, and Mr. LaMelo Ball to turn out very well. But, I mean, after that, there is quite a bit of a drop, and most years, none of those guys would go number 1. Most years, Anthony Edwards would not be the number 1 pick. But because it's a weak class, Timberwolves didn't want Wiseman, Timberwolves didn't want LaMelo, that left them with Anthony Edwards. So I feel like they more so settled for Anthony Edwards rather than, like, pounded the table that this guy is going to change our franchise. Offenses are like me and my love life. They just don't want to try. Oh, damn. So the Steamers are down by 9 now. They are still alive. Whether they deserve to be or not, they still have a shot to win this game.
It leads to 2nd and 10.
I thought the defender was going to make a play on that ball. I'm surprised the Steamer caught it.
It's a gain of 10. And a Memphis first down.
Easton now under pressure. It's doinked, and it could have been intercepted. That guy was, like, right there. Anthony Edwards is a worse starting caliber player. I'd say you're right. I think he's going to develop into kind of like what... Oh, Schefter just tweeted about my new pickup. Clyde Edwards-Helaire did not practice today due to an illness. Their offensive tackles had an issue with the virus, so that's not ideal. But I think Anthony Edwards is going to develop into about what Victor Oladipo is, like a borderline all-star who can play well on both sides of the floor, can score, can provide high energy. I mean, what Anthony Edwards said yesterday about his passion for basketball isn't necessarily ideal, but looking at it, Sexton's already a 20-point-per-game scorer. Hopefully Garland can too. Yeah, hence why you guys didn't really need a scorer. I mean, there weren't many, like, pure scorers there at pick 5. I mean, Onyeka is not known for scoring. Killian Hayes is not known as a pure scorer. Abdi is not known as a pure... Oh, my word, they got that conversion. Abdi is not known as a pure scorer. Obi Toppin is, but he's, like, the only guy in that range for them that you think of as a scorer. So I see why the Cavs picked Okoro. Not necessarily that he's the guy I would have taken there. Early on, yeah. He's going to have to guard the opposing team's best player, I would imagine, very early into his NBA career. Simply because, I mean, the Cavs' backcourt defensively is not particularly good. It was like 2nd and 22, wasn't it? He just reached for a first down. How about that? The Steamers are literally hanging on by a thread, and they've been hanging on a thread for the past 2 quarters. This feels like it's a little bit too little too late.
Eason's pass, complete to Michael Pittman.
But, I mean, they are still really hanging on. They've got to hold on to these timeouts, though.
Eason's pass, complete to Giovanni Bernard. Eason's pass.
Knows maybe you can re-sign Drummond and he can provide some value for future runs. I mean, you guys need that franchise-changing player, though. Who knows? Maybe that's Okoro. Probably not. But you guys need, like, that guy before we can get there. And, I mean, maybe it happens in a trade. Probably not in a free agency because, I mean, Cleveland's not a large market. But who knows? Drummond is underrated and overrated. As a Piston fan, I would say he's probably a tiny bit overrated. I mean, I like the guy, but I'll say he's a little bit overrated. He's a good player, but not much more than that. He's just a good player who's probably the best rebounder in the league, but in today's game, that only carries so much value. If he played in 1980, he'd probably be a Hall of Famer, but unfortunately for him, he's not playing in the 1980s. Did he catch it? Oh, he almost had that and tipped in his hands. They're going to go for the field goal here, and I imagine go for the onside kick. They still have all their timeouts, though, which is interesting. I would have probably gone for it here just because they're already this close to the end zone. But Jahlil Okafor in 1975 would be an all-star. He would be. He'd definitely be an all-star in 1975. But unfortunately for him, he's not playing in 1975. Steamers recovered. I think that's Gordon. So, best case scenario for Memphis is that they get a Hail Mary with like 3 seconds left. That's their best case scenario right now. And it does not look all that likely. All the Sentinels need here is a first down, and this game is done. And they would get a what are the Sentinels? 6 and 8, I think. I think they're 6 and 8. So yeah, this one is done. Orlando ends the winning streak for Memphis at I think 9, which is still very impressive. 16-10, an unsurprisingly low score. You'd say punt and return touchdown is the best bet. Maybe that would be the best bet. I mean, obviously, neither of those things happened, considering Orlando won. For Cleveland, you don't think there was that guy available at 5? Maybe Denny. I don't know about Obi, just because they don't really need scoring. I mean, I picked Obi in the Cavs series just because he's fun. And I wanted to use him in 2K, but I mean, I probably would have picked Denny there if I was the Cavs. Outside of Denny, I mean, there really was not that guy, so they just, I figured, go for the best fit, which I guess you could argue would be Okoro. Jacob Eason, oh shoot. Jacob Eason was pretty average. Tua Tagovailoa was quite good. Nobody really stood out in the run game. DeAndre Swift was solid, though. Touchdowns for Tyrone Gordon and Jalen Reagor. Hopefully the second game can be a little bit more high scoring. I think it will be, because the Jaguars and the Cardinals are offense-predominant teams, and these two teams are predominant on defense. So I think this Jaguar-Cardinal game could be really fun. Joe Burrow and Alexei Smirnov, the previous two #1 picks. I mean, Burrow wasn't the #1 pick in the fantasy draft, but technically in the previous two drafts, these were the top picks. So, please don't. Oh, it didn't crash. Oh, would you look at that? We're gonna go a whole stream without crashing. That is wild. All right, I think the Cardinals are home. I think. Yes, okay. So Jacksonville's 1, Arizona's 2. Hey Siri, can you give me a number between 1 and 2? 1. All right, so that means we're going to use the Jaguars. Jacksonville 6 and 8. They need a win to stay alive. If they lose, they're done pretty much. Cardinals are in a very tough conference and a very tough division that they can still win. So it should be interesting. What's good, Boomy? Welcome to the stream. You just missed the first game. You just got here in time for the second game. The Sentinels beat the Steamers 16-10. X Factors, we got Devontae Adams, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Chase Young. Superstars, Alvin Kamara, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jerry Jeudy, Joe Burrow, Isaiah Simmons, Derek Brown, Miles Jack, and Devin Bush. Jerseys, we'll just go with the regular aways, I guess. You'll take the alternates? Well, I mean, it landed on Jacksonville, so. How does the playoff work for live stream? So, I think we're going to do what we did at the end of OFL 20. So, the wild card, we're going to watch all 4 wild card games in one stream, most likely. Or maybe I split it up into 2. Wow, both of these guys have 31 passing touchdowns. That's a lot. But, I think we're going to do all the wild card games in one stream. All the divisional round games in one stream. All the conference championships in one stream, and then the OFL Bowl in one stream. So, most likely 4 streams for playoffs, 1 for each round, I would imagine. Maybe we split the wild card and divisional round up into 2 if people would prefer that. Oh, there can be. Oh, yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. There's 6 wild card games. You're right. So, probably 3 and 3. We're not watching 6 games in one stream. So, I guess probably 3 and 3 is a good idea. I forgot about that. You're right, yeah. I'm expecting a high-scoring, offensive-oriented game, and I think that's going to be fun because we've not had a ton of those this year in the LFL. Still trying to adjust the sliders. But, I mean, these are 2 really good offense teams, 2 quarterbacks with big numbers. So, yes, 6 games in one stream. That would be a marathon. That would be like 4 hours or something. I mean, that's nothing to some people, but that's a lot for me. So the Cardinals will start on offense. Here is the rookie, Alexei Smirnov, who's arguably been the best rookie quarterback this year. I think probably him or Isaiah Thomas. Obviously, Riley Painter has the most upside with this X Factor. But if we're talking about this year solely, I would probably, just based on how the Chiefs haven't been as good in recent weeks. I mean, Isaiah Thomas has been good. But I'd probably be ready to say Smirnov's been a little bit better this year. I mean, it's close between him and Isaiah. It is really close. Game's a lot more important for you. I mean, the Jaguars need to win it to stay alive. Even if you guys lose, you still have a chance to make the playoffs. But on the flip side, Jacksonville could win today and still probably miss the playoffs. So, it's a goddamn miracle we could actually make the playoffs. 3rd and 7. Good throw from Smirnov to Darren Waller, the baller. For a gain of 9. I think we've only watched Jacksonville once this year. Joe Burrow's played well in just about every game, it feels like. So I'm curious to see what he does here and watch. I think it's going to be very interesting. Jerry Jeudy as well puts up and Justin Jefferson. Both Jerry Jeudy and Justin Jefferson have been putting up ridiculous numbers this year for the Jags. So I'm curious to see what that trio of Burrow, Jeudy, and Jefferson is able to do. Darren Waller coming off a big game. You're down to make. I think we're all down to make the playoffs. Devontae Adams has been quiet in watch games, which is kind of weird, but yeah. Hey, speaking of Adams, he catches it for 6. There we go. Spoke it into existence. You're like LeVar Ball. Alvin Kamara for about 3. Cardinals offense is looking pretty good so far.
That's a gain of 3. It's
3rd and 1. Kamara will barely get the first, but he does nonetheless, getting about 2. Wrapped up by Devin Bush. Now, with Vegas and Miami could just not. I mean, both of those teams losing would certainly help Jacksonville. So.
Intended for John Ross. Incomplete.
And they would help your Browns too. I now that I realize that's probably what you were referring to, but here as well. Both of those teams are in the fight for a wild card spot. Maybe not the Browns. I mean, the Browns aren't in this league. And the team that was the Browns has the #1 seed in the AFC. So, there's that. 3rd and 10. Cardinals are in prime field goal miss range. It looks like they are in field goal range, but they don't get the first down. Gurley only gets 3. Or, no, he only gets 7, and it's 4th and 3. I'm done. Here we go. If your team's classic gets stopped at midfield, well, you're going to get points. Barring something crazy. You were talking about the NFL? Okay, I figured. Because at first I was like, what are you talking about you guys making the playoffs? But then I realized it was the Browns. Here is the Jacksonville offense with Joe Burrow, who would be an MVP candidate pretty much about any other year, but considering the Jags are only 6-8, that kind of doesn't help his chances, but statistically, he has been very good. So nervous right now. I don't think this is a must-win for the Cardinals. I mean, this one would be really big. You could argue it's a must-win. I mean, does 9-7 get you in the playoffs in the NFC? It probably does. So this is a very important game, but, I mean, Jacksonville needs to win to stay alive, pretty much. For you guys, it's much easier to get in with a win. If Arizona wins today, they're probably in, and if they lose, they're probably not in. But it's not mathematically out of the equation that Arizona could win today and not make it, or lose today and still make it, just because the NFC is that, like, wide open. There's a short gain for Mr. Jerry Jeudy. Big booty Jeudy. Jags could use a star at running. If this Jaguars team had like a legit running back, this offense would be unstoppable. I mean, Alexander Madison has been fairly good at times. And they also have Jonathan Taylor as well. But, I mean, if they had like a legit, really good running back, like how RMP had Todd Gurley last year, then this offense would just be a machine. Just cranking out points with ease. Just imagine if they had a guy like Wes Lunn on this offense. Joe Burrow only gets 6, so that'll force a punt. You have Todd Gurley and Kamara. That's probably the best running back duo in the league, I would probably say. If we're talking about solely talent, I mean, I think Mixon and Carry-On for the Cougars are certainly in the running. But outside of that, I mean, who's Naruto's backup running back? I forget. I feel like it's someone good, though, behind Aaron Jones. It could be worse. I mean, you could be the Snowhawks, who are starting like a 65 overall running back, because all of our other running backs are injured. Here is the NFC playoff picture. So, The Cardinals would be the 7th seed. I know it says they're in the hunt, but that graphic is not like updated. There are a lot of 8 and 6 teams though, so Arizona might have to win out. They might actually have to win out to make it. Could we have 3 10-win wildcard teams in the NFC? That'd be kind of crazy. That'd be pretty impressive too. Because it said the Lions were 8 and 6, the Bucks are 8 and 6, the Saints are 8 and 6. There are a bunch of 8 and 6 teams in this in this conference. But the Cardinals look like the better team so far today, and Alexei Smirnov is 6 for 9. Yes, sir, comrades. If you win out, you're in pretty much. So you control. Yeah, you guys pretty much control your own destiny. We beat Tampa this week, I swear. Just for the memes, I would not mind seeing Keaton beat the Bucks, and I'd like to see the Bucks go far in the playoffs because I think they have one of the funner teams in the league. But just for the sake of memes, I kind of want to see Keaton get the win. Not a high-scoring game. I thought it would be. Based on what the sliders were last week, and considering these are 2 of the better offenses, I mean, both teams only had 1 drive so far, but not a ton of points so far. Octi, no! Third and 2, Kamara will get it. So Arizona will keep their drive going. Cardinals have moved the ball fairly slowly, slower than I expected, but I mean, they're moving it. That's all that really matters in the end. So they're doing their job. Nice to see the run game going. Kamara's looked fairly solid so far today. And right as I say that, he loses too. I think that's Brian Burns who brings him down. Burning up in the backfield. Was it Gurley? I couldn't really tell. They both have nice hair, so not a giant difference. Smirnov will rip it out of bounds. So now it's 3rd and 12. This is a really big play. I mean, if Arizona gets a first down, then they will be grooving. And a stop here would be really big for Jacksonville, and it looks like they will get it. Devontae Adams only gets to the 48 for a gain of 8. So the Cardinals will have to punt it here. So 2 punts today. And only 3 points. Will this be the drive that the Jaguars... Ooh, nearly a what-a-punt. We were close. We were close to a what-a-punt, but not quite. Cardinals defense has been very impressive today. I was not expecting them to be this good, but they have looked really good so far.
No gain on the play. Brings up 2nd and 10 at the 13-yard line.
Joe Burrow with a whopping 9 yards up to this point. He has not thrown an incompletion though. So there's that. 3rd and 6. There we go. It's the incompletion. Yeah, this has been a defensive struggle so far. I mean, there has been no offense up to this point, which I did not see coming, but here we are.
The Cardinals take over 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line.
Here returns the offense, Alvin Kamara and company, nearing his 10th rushing touchdown of the year. Doesn't quite look like he's putting up the numbers that he is in real life, but still pretty darn solid. 1 missed block difference if we started at the 40 or the opponent's 40. Yeah, I could have, I guess, on the sack earlier on the last drive. Or not the sack, but the tackle for loss by, I think it was Brian Burns. So that could be the difference between points and no points. And in a game that's been close so far, it could be the difference between winning and losing, but Arizona does look like the better team up to this point. Although Jacksonville's defense is really trying. Smirnov is still alive. He's going to yeet it, and it is... Oh, that would have been sick if somebody caught that. That would have been awesome. Oh, well. I was about to say, that was bad pocket awareness by Alexei Smirnov, but he somehow broke out of the sack and nearly had a ridiculous yeet, but wasn't quite able to get it the distance. What a play still indeed. Better, or I guess worse field position for Jacksonville, so better field position for Arizona, which is good news for them. Jags have 3:05 to go here in the half. They still have a goose egg on the scoreboard. I was not expecting... I mean, to be fair, they are a little bit one-dimensional. I mean, as good as Joe Burrow's been, they don't really have that great of a run game. And right as I say that, they get a nice run. So, maybe I shouldn't be talking. Barely got in inside of the 20. That was like the what-a-punt light version. The real what-a-punt is inside the 10, but the what-a-punt light version is what we're going to call it. I don't know. That would be inside the 20. Wasn't all that good of a punt, though. Out here trying to look like that guy the Titans had at punter last week on Thursday Night Football. Whatever his name is. And for whatever reason, they kept him. I don't really know why. I think I could have done a better job than that guy, and I've never punted in my life. Two-minute warning in the first half. Cardinals up 3-0. I was not expecting this to be this low scoring, but I mean, here we are. It's still a good, I mean, this is still a good game, though, for sure.
Burrow's pass, intended for Jerry Jeudy, incomplete. It leads to 2nd and 10.
Oh, look at Jerry Jeudy! What a play inside the 20 to the 18.
Complete to Jerry Jeudy. A 28-yard gain.
Come on, team, let's not collapse where it's looking like a collapse. Joe Cool is starting to... I don't know, I was trying to think of something clever there. I couldn't think of anything. 2nd and 3. Burrow is sacked by... D-Law? Was that D-Law? Couldn't really tell, but that's a big sack nonetheless. 3rd and 11 now. We could be looking at just a field goal. It appears that will be the case. The Cardinals stop them. Derek Brown, that might have been Derek Brown, yeah, maybe.
Chase McLaughlin on for the field goal. A 31-yard attempt.
Field goal try is cash money. And the Jaguars will tie it up at 3 with 52 seconds to go in the half. I did not think this would be the score at this point in the game, but again, what do I know? Cardinals can take the lead. Who starts with the ball in the second half? I think the Jags? I want to say the Jags start with the ball, but I could be wrong. We've got a shootout here in Arizona. This is like the opposite of a real Cardinals game. That game against Seattle tonight is going to be fun. But, I mean, this is not real Cardinals football. And if it was real Jaguars football, it would be 20-3 instead of 3-3. So, not very realistic to their real-life counterparts. I will say, both Cardinal teams have very solid quarterback play. I mean, Smirnov hasn't been great today, but this year he's been very impressive for a rookie. Oh, they're just chewing clock. This will be the last play of the half, and it's a pretty good one, but it's not going to result in a touchdown. So, tied at 3 going into halftime, a very low-scoring game. So this means it's pretty much 0-0. Whoever scores more points the rest of the way wins a game. Pretty much that simple. Have there been any ties this year in the OFL? I don't think we've had a tie yet. Which is weird because in the past, Madden Sim handed out 4 or 5 ties a year. But I know they did at the patch where there's a lot less ties. But I mean, you still gotta have a couple. I think there's been 1 in the NFL in real life this year. I think there was 1 last year. That was us in week 1. That game was a disaster. Tie would honestly not be bad for you guys. What would a tie do? I feel like that would be kind of good for you guys. Obviously, a win is better, but if you guys end up tying that game, I think that's more of a win than a loss. Because essentially, the other teams still have to win out to pass you. The other 8 and 6 teams, they still have to win out to pass you. So, I think there's like 2 wild card spots up for grabs. And I think 5, 8, and 6 teams in this conference. And it's picked by Miles Jack. And the Cardinals force a turnover. But with 2 wild card spots and 5, 8, and 6 teams, I think a tie would not be the worst thing in the world here for the Cardinals. But, I mean, after that turnover, they look like they're trying to win this game. There was like 2 ties in 2018. I mean, I don't remember exactly how many ties there were per year, but there's normally a couple per season. There's usually 1 to 2, maybe 3 at the most. So I'm surprised we've not had any ties. And for meme purposes, I kind of want some ties because they're kind of funny. But I think 9, 6, and 1 is probably good enough to get you in the playoffs. Not guaranteed, but probably good enough to sneak you in at that 6 or 7 seed.
It's a gain of 4. Brings up 3rd and 3. Number 41, Alvin Kamara, the ball carrier. He's brought down at the
4th and 2, so... oh, they're going for it. I was about to say they have to settle for a field goal. Hello. Yeah, this is probably the right call because they're at the 37, and Gurley does get it. I think that was the right call. Risky, but it works. I mean, you got to risk it considering the Cardinals are trying to make a playoff run here, and they've pretty much got to not lose this game. A win or a tie, I think, is acceptable, but they can't lose it. You got to play to not lose right now, I feel like, rather than to win. Well, actually, no. I feel like you have to play to win, but the goal mainly is to not lose, rather than to win.
brings up 3rd and 5.
Need a touchdown here. A touchdown would be big. That would be big. And will they get it? They do get the first. Smirnov and company get 8. A lot of short passes from Smirnov. The only time we saw him throw that deep pass was the one that was incomplete late in the 2nd quarter that he broke the sack from. Which is peculiar. Because we know Smirnov can yeet it. Devontae Adams to the 5. They're getting close, fellas. And they're burning clock. Under 4 minutes to go in the 3rd. Time is ticking away. Can the Cardinals finally score the first touchdown of the game? Gonna need the Thunderbirds offense to activate Bears mode. The Thunderbird defense to activate Seahawks mode. Keaton's better than what the Bears have at quarterback. Speaking of, who is starting next week at quarterback for the Bears? Hold on. Let me check the fantasy football app. See who they have starting. It looks like Arizona just scored. Yeah. Darren Waller. Who is starting next week for the Bears? I'm actually kind of curious. Oh, they have a bye week. Oh, that's right. They are lucky. I imagine Mitch is going to be back soon. I don't know what the... What was Foles' injury? What's up with him? What did he do? Does not say. Well, time to hop on the Tyler Bray hype train. All right, Cardinals lead at 10-3 with 2:51 left to go. Bears should sign me, play quarterback on a league minimum cut. That'd be an upgrade to what they have. You could put any of us at quarterback. Hell, you could probably put Theo at quarterback and they'd do better on offense. Bray, yeah, big play, Tyler Bray. Man, the myth, the legend. This game is still very stressful. I mean, yeah, this game is still not out of reach at all for Jacksonville. Now, if Arizona gets a stop here, that would be pretty big. But Jacksonville scores on this possession. They are right back in this game. And to be fair, it's not like they're out of this game. But with the interception and the touchdown, I feel like the Cardinals do have a little bit more momentum right now. Bears should put Cody Parkey at kicker. He has elite accuracy. That's true. He knows how to hit the post. So have your receivers go on post routes. Boom. He knows how to hit the post. He's also good when plays doink off of the receiver's hands. His superstar ability is that it has doubled the chance to be caught by one of the other receivers because he's good at the doinks. That was corny. Good first down for Jaguars. They have it past midfield for what feels like the first time in this entire game. I really wouldn't be surprised if it is.
And a Jaguar first down. Burrow's pass complete to Tyler Croft. A 6-yard pickup brings up 2nd and 4 at the Cardinals' 42-yard line.
Second and 4. Probably the last play of the quarter. It's a short throw for Judy. So after the third, the Cardinals score a touchdown. They lead at 10-3, but the Jaguars have the football. This is still anyone's game going into the fourth and final quarter of the day. Need to stop him 3 more times. Joe working some magic. Although, to be fair, Cody Parkey has been automatic this year. I wish I could say the same for my kicker. Now, my kicker can still make 60-yard game winners blindfolded. Matt Prater will never change, but he is still kind of looking a little bit washed at times. He's still the greatest clutch kicker, arguably, in the history of the National Football League. I don't know if there's anybody who's as good in late-game situations than Mr. Prater, but I mean, his age is shown. There's one thing that we've had consistently. The Pistons are not extending the qualifying offer to Thon Maker. No! Woj, why you gotta give me the bad news? Okay, I don't really care that much. We're letting the goat walk, not Thon. What was my point that I was just getting to? Hold on. I can go back and see. Okay, I was talking about the Lions. The one thing that we've had consistently in my lifetime is special teams. And that's literally it. 56-yarder. He nailed that. He nailed it. Who's that kicker? Chase McLaughlin from 56? Hello. He drilled that. So it is now 10-6. 6-10. That's what the Thunderbirds records could be this year. Oh! Shots fired. If the Jaguars lose today, by the way, they will be 6-9. So, for meme purposes, the Cardinals maybe?
The pass complete to Dawson Knox. It's a gain of 5. Brings up 2nd and 5.
Cardinals, if they score a touchdown here, this game is, with how long these drives have been, this game might be over if the Cardinals score a touchdown. Jaguars need to stop. Their defense has been fairly solid today, but can it be good here to save their playoff shot? Must be a lot of wind. That could be the reason. I mean, Chase McLaughlin, I think, is one of the lower-rated kickers. I'm very surprised he made that.
The pass intended for Darren Waller. Incomplete. Isaiah Simmons there defensively.
Cardinals are moving it slowly but surely.
To Darren Waller. It's a gain of 6. Makes it 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4. This might be the biggest play of the game. Smirnov does not get it. They only get 3. Oh boy, here comes the fun. One consistent Cleveland has had since returning is good holders. Oof. You think they should go for it? Honestly? Should the Cardinals go for it here? Considering how good the defense has been, I would say no. But that's not an awful call if they did do that. I wouldn't hate it. But Arizona's defense has been so good today. We'll see if they can be good again with 5 minutes to play.
Burrow's pass complete to Jerry Jeudy. It's a gain of 8. Brings up at the 29-yard line.
Imagine if Jacksonville's offense has just played so badly today and they score a touchdown right at the end and win it. That would be kind of sad.
Burrow's pass complete to Alexander Madison. A gain of 5. First down, Jacksonville.
Deep ball, nearly caught. That was a solid. That was very good accuracy.
Intended for Justin Jefferson. Incomplete. It's 2nd down and 10.
2nd and 10. Burrow running like a madman. That's called pocket awareness. He actually tried to evade the pressure and throw it.
Complete to David Njoku.
Burrow has just reached 100 yards. The sad thing is, I don't even think Smirnov has 100 yards. I've got to I'm trying to boost these sliders. I really am, as Joe Burrow decides to run right into Bud Dupree. 4th and 18. If I'm Jacksonville, I'd probably punt it. I don't think they will. I think they're going to go for it. Oh, they won't. Okay. Hello, Apple. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Looks like you guys play the Chiefs today, who are much needed to win. Dear God, that was almost blocked. That was close. Jags almost had a really big play. Crazy, I know. Smirnov is 125. Okay, 126. Yeah, close enough. So Arizona can choose some clock here and try to end it. Their defense has been surprisingly really good. Joe Burrow has not been impressive today, which I did not see coming. Smirnov is quickly sacked by Brian Burns, who's had a really good game today. And is a really good player in real life. And you know which team passed on him? We did. Still love me some Hawk, but I mean, geez, Bob Quinn does it again. It's 126, spreading false info. Oof. Ooh, they had to get this play off before the 2-minute warning. That's a big deal. All right, if the Cardinals get this first down, it's basically game over for the most part. Barring something crazy. Looks like they might just run it, which is probably a wise decision here. 3rd and 13, and they do not get it.
Jamie Gillen in punt formation.
So the Jaguars have yet another chance to win. They still have 2 timeouts. They have plenty of time. But their offense has done nothing to show that they're going to do this. Now, who knows? Maybe they will do it. I mean, Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. We'll see what he can do. We'll see if he can lead the team to a win. That would be pretty crazy. And so I have a short pass here for Alexander Madison, who gets 8.
Complete to Alexander Madison.
2nd and 1. Burrow runs right in the defender again. Jags have to call time. Whenever it's 4th down, they pretty much have to go for it, by the way. Does Joe Burrow have the clutch gene? We actually don't know this because LSU won all their games in blowouts last year. And so far the Bengals, I mean, He won them that game in week 1, but the refs made a bad call. So, I mean, so far he's been fairly solid in late game situations. Here he's just running into defensive linemen. Literally, like, within the past 2 minutes, he's ran into a defensive lineman like 3 times. This is unbelievable. They're down to 30 seconds. Oh, dear. So we're not going to get overtime. Either Jacksonville's going to score a touchdown or Arizona's going to win the game. Unless the Jags get a touchdown, Arizona gets a field goal late miraculously. But, I mean, there's 17 seconds if the Cardinals, or if the Jaguars do not have any timeouts. We could be looking at Hail Mary here, yeah. Joe Burrow has not had a very good drive as David Njoku decides not to run out of bounds. And that's how the game will end because of EA clock management. Cardinals beat the Jags 10-6 in a very low-scoring game. The Jags are eliminated, and the Cardinals get a huge victory because clock management in Madden NFL EA Sports 2021 is still a major problem. Not a lot of offense today. Not a lot of offense. Which I did not see coming. Njoku, you big dumb. God, I can breathe again. Alexei Smirnov was solid. He wasn't great, but he did his job. Joe Burrow was kind of disappointing. Wasn't very impressed. Nobody ran the ball that well. Alexander Madison had over 5 yards of carry. I guess that's cool. Darren Waller was pretty good. The only player that averaged over 10 yards a catch was Judy. And Marquise Lee, who had 1 catch. Devin Bush with 14 tackles. 2 sacks for Bud Dupree, 1.5 for Brown, 1 for Burns, have a sack for Tech McKinley, and the pick for Miles Jack. It is sim time. Who had the most yards receiving-wise? I think it was Waller. So for the Judy prop bet, the answer is no. The first touchdown is made responsible by over Burrow or Smirnov. Well, there was only 1 touchdown today, and it was made responsible by Alexei Smirnov. Cool. Hello, Colin. Welcome. Don't crash, please don't crash. We're good. Alright, I guess it is time to simulate. See what happens here in week 16. We just saw, I guess for a little recap for Colin here, 2 very low-scoring games. The first one was expected to be a defensive battle. The Sentinels upset the Steamers 16-10. And in a battle of 2 of the better offenses in the league, it was 10-6, with the Cardinals beating the Jaguars. Alrighty, what happens here in a very important Week 16? We're going to see a lot of teams clinch, and a lot of teams get eliminated, and a lot of teams potentially hurt or help their draft stock. Texans lose. They played the Niners. Titans, I think, lost, and the Colts, I think, lost. So I think that's everybody in the division lost. Jets, they need a win to stay alive, and they do. They have won 4 in a row and had the Dolphins in Week 17 in what could be a very big game. The Jets won the OFL Bowl last year. They sucked at the beginning of the year, and now they are really starting to play well. Matt Ryan only threw 1 interception. That's rather low for him. Ryan Tannehill, I imagine, is still the MVP favorite, even though the Titans are not all that good. Derrick Henry scores. Kyle Juszczyk, juice! With a score, Robert Woods with a touchdown, 2 for Mohamed Sanu. Wow, a lot of sacks for the Jets defense, I see. They finished with 6. 2 for Leonard Floyd, 1.5 for Justin Houston. Picks for Darren Lee, Sean Williams, and William Jackson III. Lions, they've lost, like, quite a few in a row. They've lost, I think, 4 in a row. Make it 5! Ben DiNucci with the win! I don't believe it! Gucci DiNucci has won the game for the Ravens. Wow, how about that? The Lions really don't want to make the playoffs, do they? Someone cue the Ben DiNucci song for me, please. Ravens are still in line to get the #1 pick, I think. But I think if they lost, they would have clinched it. Lions losing and the Steamers losing. You might have. I don't think you guys clinch yet. I don't think you guys can clinch no matter what happens. But you guys are in the driver's seat to make a playoff spot. Denzel Mims with the... Oh, no, Will Greenfield also have a receiving touchdown. Why is David Bakhtiari allowed a lot of sacks, I feel like, this year? What? I feel like he's just trying to be a true Packer. 2 sacks for Brandon Graham. Picks for Vontae Maddox and Marlon Humphrey. Green Bay Packers beat the Snowhawks. So, again, and I think the Packers probably clinch for 1 seed in the NFC. What has happened to the Snowhawks? Dear God. Kyler was actually not terrible today. Aaron Rodgers was good. Dalvin Cook was solid. Jet Anderson with 32 rushing yards. Poor Portland. They do not have a running back who's healthy. Golden Tate. I think Miles Sanders might be back soon. Miles Sanders might be back soon. They need that. You have a proposal? Can you let the coaches vote for the MVP award? That is actually kind of a good idea. I think we should do that. Yeah. We should have the coaches vote for awards. Then it would obviously be... Well, no, I would pick like 5 finalists, and then the coaches would vote. I would pick 5 finalists, list out the stats, the team record, so it wouldn't just be everybody loves Smirnoff. The Caps get a win for the first time in what feels like an eternity. Carolina loses, so, I mean, the Panthers should still make the playoffs regardless, but... Wow, the Caps don't really have a shot to make it just because they've lost like 8 in a row before this, but good for the Caps, I guess. A lot of the tanking teams trying to get wins, I see. 3 touchdowns for Paul Richardson. You better start him in fantasy this week. It's magic season. New England, they've lost a number of games in a row. And they lose another to the Bills. New England has gone down a 3-fall. They are now 8-7. They should still make the playoffs because this conference kind of sucks. I think the Bills are 7-8. The Bills still have a shot. Stafford and Riddle were both pretty solid. Would Smirnoff be considered? If he plays really well week 17, then possibly. He's probably on the fringe. If New England does not make the playoffs, that would be pretty embarrassing. That would be kind of embarrassing. Wonder what Alpo's going to do with Phil Riddle. I'd probably hold on to him. Raiders, they've won a number of games in a row, and they beat the Chargers. So the Raiders are 8-7. So they should get a playoff spot. The Chargers, I think, are now 6-9. They are pretty much out of the race. 2 picks for Trace McSorley. Cole McDonald also with 2 picks. C. Bush scores twice, but also has 2.6 yards per carry. Brandon Ayuk does Brandon Ayuk-like things. Hollywood Brown scores twice. Three sacks for Fletcher Cox. 2 picks for Tavon Young. So Painter and Smirnoff could make the playoffs and play. That's a possible Super Bowl, yeah. Rams are not very good, and they lose to the Saints. So New Orleans is 9-6. A big win for the Saints, as they probably will make a playoff spot. 3 scores for Jimmy Jesus. Watch Keaton throw for 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 348 yards, and 80%. That would be funny. I am rooting for a Thunderbird win. I don't think Keaton will ever be as goated as Brian Amaya, but this would be ridiculous if he won in his first game as a starter, just like Brian Amaya. Ravens won, Saints won, Sentinels won, Snowhawks lost, Steamers won. Steelers, I think, played the Bengals. This is actually an important game for playoffs, I think. And it goes to the Steelers, the inconsistent Bengals. Decide to be the inconsistent Bengals today. I think the Steelers still have an outside shot, but a shot nonetheless. Bengals are 7-8. Bengals are either going to get killed in the wild card round if they make it, or they're going to make it to at least a conference championship. It's going to be one of those 2 things. No in between. Because that's literally what the Bengals are. Go Steelers! The Texans, they lost to the Niners. I think the Niners clinched their division. Texans already did clinch our division. What was the score? 31-10, a big victory for the 49ers. 4 touchdowns for Dak Prescott. Oh my word, Russell Wilson, 38%. There's a very good shot. Keaton throws for a higher percentage and gets a better passer rating than Russell Wilson. Dan Jefferson with a big performance, 105 yards and a touchdown. Two picks for Justin Coleman, one for a rookie, Julian Avalier. All right, give me a Thunderbirds win. Oh, but they put up 35. They didn't win, but they put up a big number. 307 passing yards for Ben. I put Keaton as the starter. I remember doing it. We have problems, game. I remember putting Keaton as the starter. I literally remember doing it. I mean, the Thunderbirds lost still, but I physically remember making Keaton the starter. Also, Jordan Love throws for 6 touchdowns, by the way, for what it's worth. I remember making Keaton the starter. They don't even have him listed as a quarterback. That's weird. Remember, I made him a quarterback. Did he punt? Did they move him back to punter? No, they had Dom Maggio punt it, whoever that is. That's weird. Huh. Maybe, I think I might know what happened. Hold on. Maybe the game recognized that you didn't have a punter, so maybe they cut Keaton and signed a punter. That's my guess. And I am correct. Okay. I figured the game would do that. Alright, so if I were you, Nick, if you want to see Keaton start next week, I'd probably cut some random person other than the punter. I know it's not your fault, it's not my fault, it's nobody's fault, it's just the game. Because I know I made him the starter. So I guess credit to Madden for keeping Roseman as the starter, because he was the second stringer. So they did not just put Patrick Mahomes in there. So I guess there's that, but I mean, I made Keaton the starter. I made him a quarterback. Otherwise, they wouldn't have cut him and signed another punter. The game would not just cut him for no reason. Terry McLaurin with 3 touchdowns. He's kind of a machine here in this league. As in real life, too. He's a beast. So, the Thunderbirds could still get the #1 pick, I think. The Thunderbirds, the Colts, the Rams. I think the Rams have 1 right now. With Baltimore winning. I think the Rams would have pick 1. Bills 1, yes. Bucks 1. The Cowboys beat the Bulldogs. The winner of this game pretty much wins the NFC East, and it looks like it's going to them boys. 27-24. Dallas gets the win. I hate Ben Roseman. All my homies hate Ben Roseman. So now the Bulldogs kind of need a miracle. The Bulldogs made the OFL Bowl last year, remember, and it doesn't look like they'll get back this year. The Caps, they won. Cardinals obviously won. The Chargers lost. The Chiefs beat the Colts. They will stay alive. And the Colts stay alive for the #1 pick. Kansas City is now 7-8. They still have a shot to make the playoffs. It looks like the Colts offense was very bad with Jarrett Stadium at quarterback. He wasn't that bad. He only threw 17 passes, though. Isaiah Thomas did his thing. Big performance for Rashad Penny. Is Scooter injured? I guess so, huh? .307 passing yards from good old Ben Roseman. Alright, who did we start with again? We started with Jacksonville. Okay, so we're almost, I think we're almost done with scores. Cougars beat the Dolphins. This is a bigger deal for the Dolphins than the Cougars, but I think Chicago clinches for 1 seed because Houston lost. So the Cougars will get a first-round bye in the AFC playoffs. So I believe both 1 seeds are already clinched with the Cougars and the Packers. So the Dolphins and the Patriots are both 8-7. I think the Bills and the Jets are 7-8. Nobody wants to win that AFC East right now. Nobody wants to win that division. Riley Painter was decent. Daniel Jones has been quite good this year. So the Cougars don't have anything to play for next week. And they will play, oh my word, Orlando Brown allowed 5 sacks. Who had the big day? Who was it? 4 for Melvin Ingram, and 1 for the 2 rookies, Jaden O'Neal and Will Molden. This proves Smirnov is better than Painter, confirmed. But Painter, Isaiah, Thomas, and Smirnov are the big 3. I would say so. I mean, Buckley's been very inconsistent. Phil Riddle has been up and down too. If the Diablos win, we clinch the division. Let's party! 5 wins in a row. We beat the Eagles 27-24, so it looks like the Diablos have won the AFC West. The Eagles, I think, are now out of the playoff race, I think. Austin Buckley outperforms Drew Lock, though. Actually, not really. I guess I would say it's pretty even between them. Kareem Hunt scores. He missed most of the year, but it looks like he's back better than. Riddle could turn out to be the answer at quarterback. I mean, the Pats also are kind of on free fall. Big game for Mr. Juju Smith-Schuster, 140 yards and a score. Whoa, Melvin, what a legend. Nobody had more than half a sack. Cleveland Farrell and Mabi Okariki. And then a pick for Marcus Williams. Playoff football is going to a different country for the first time ever. Canada and London are both out, so no. Oh, Mexico! Yes, Mexico City! How can I forget about my own team being in a different country? I'm dumb. Dolphins lost, Eagles lost, Niners won, Jags lost. That's everybody. All right. So let's look at these standings and the playoff picture as well, and then set the stage for Week 17. So in the AFC North, the Cougars clinched that a while ago. Okay, so the Steelers, I don't think really have a shot, unless a 7-9 team makes it, which knowing this conference is possible. The Bengals are 7-8; they're still fighting. Wish you could be the first one, but I get the accomplishments. Yes, casually forgetting about my own team. AFC South, probably only one playoff team here, that obviously being the Texans. In the East, nobody wants to win this division. Okay, the Bills are 6-9, so the Bills aren't really in the race, but the Jets can still win this division. And the Dolphins and Patriots, who've had chances to pretty much clinch it and have just chosen not to. We have not clinched the division, but we have clinched a playoff spot. So the Raiders can still clinch the division. I don't know why I didn't think of that. But we are in the playoffs. That's good. Okay, I'll take it. In the North, the Packers have obviously clinched the division. I think they clinched the 1 seed. Steamers should still make the playoffs. Lions have lost 5 in a row, fighting for their goddamn lives. In the NFC South, the Panthers win and they're in, but the Bucks and the Saints are only 1 game behind them, and the Sentinels are only 2 games behind them. In the NFC East, Dallas is 8-7. They get a big win over the Bulldogs, take first place here. In the West, the Niners clinch the division. The Snowhawks actually have a legit shot at missing the playoffs, and the Cardinals are 9-6. All right, Cougars get the 1 seed. They've already clinched it. Texans are projected to... Well, actually, we don't have to count anymore. I think the Rams are actually projected to get 1. The Ravens are 4-11, and they've won 2 in a row. So if the Rams lose, they get the top pick. The Thunderbirds, Colts, and Ravens will be the other teams picking in the top 4. Nobody has 5 wins. So these guys at worst will get a top 4 pick. And then a bunch of 6 and 7 win teams. So let's see this playoff picture here. Bengals, Texans, Pats and Diablos, Raiders, Dolphins, and then the NFC. Niners, Saints, Bucks, Panthers, and Steamers, Cowboys. Okay. So they have the 9-6 Cardinals not in the postseason. Wow. Okay. Interesting. But yet the 7-8 Bengals in our conference are. Which just goes to show how bad the AFC is. So, should be a very interesting Week 17. We won tie with the Bucks and the Saints. So, you guys have to beat the Snowhawks with a 65 overall starting at running back. So you should be fine, unless Miles Sanders is back, which he might be. I'd like to switch conferences. Yeah, for your sake, I don't really blame you. You would 9-6 would already have a playoff spot locked in our conference, considering we're 9-6 and we have our spot clinched. Week 17, Ravens, Chiefs, probably not. I mean, the Chiefs have a lot to play for, but the Ravens not really. Jags, Diablos, we have our playoff spot clinched. Jags are out of it. Dolphins, Jets, winner could win the division. The Dolphins win and they're in the playoffs. The Jets are hoping for some sort of miracle here. Carolina, Dallas. This game probably impacts seeding more. Actually, no, because Dallas is pretty much locked to get the 4 seed for the most part. Carolina is not clinched, but they are virtually in, barring something crazy, so I don't know about this one. Niners, Thunderbirds, no. Although it would be fun to see Keaton. Hold on. Patriots and Colts. Pats have to win, but the Colts aren't any good. Bucks, Caps, again. Bucks have to win, but the Caps don't make it fun. Steelers, Steamers. Steamers should make the playoffs regardless. The Steelers should not. Packers, Lions. I think this is a good one. We actually get to see the Packers. They are the #1 seed. We've not watched them yet. And the Lions have to win if they want a chance of making it. Texans, Rams. Rams get the #1 pick. If they lose, Texans are playing for seeding. Saints and Sentinel. This actually could determine one of the wild card spots. So that game is a very big deal. Cougars, Bengals. Cougars have the 1 seed. Bengals fighting for a playoff spot, but probably not. Titans, Bills, no. Cardinals, Snowhawks. Cardinals likely get a spot if they win. The Snowhawks to win if they want to get a spot. Bulldogs, Chargers, no. Eagles, Raiders, no, probably not. All right, so we got some good games. Who is the starting running back for the Snowhawks, though? Is Miles Sanders back yet? Same goes for Ronald Jones. Are either of them back? Or is it Jet Anderson at running back? Ronald Jones is back. Okay, that is kind of the big deal. Did you lose? You guys did lose. The Ravens play... The Colts play New England. And the Ravens play, I think, the Chiefs. Yeah, the Ravens play the Chiefs, and the Colts play New England. So, looks like a guaranteed win for the Colts with how the Pats have been playing. Can we check injury? Yeah, let's check injury real quick. Good call, good call. Not a lot of injuries. There were really, like, not that many. Is Darius Slayton only oh, I thought that said he was a 75. I was like, what? Hunter Henry broke his foot. I think that happened in the watch game. So he's out for 5 weeks. Miles Sanders will be back for the playoffs if they make it. Which is probably a no. But who knows? We'll see. Aaron Jones is out for the first 2 Texan playoff games. You could go 10-6 and miss while a 7-9 team of the AFC can make it. That is true, yes. That just goes to show how much better the NFC is. And I'm pretty happy we're chilling in the AFC. We got a shot to get a first... I was about to say we have a shot to get a first-round bye, but 2 seeds don't get a bye anymore. Oh, Carson Wentz got hurt! He did the Carson Wentz and is out 12 weeks. Okay, maybe we want to see the Caps next week because their backup is Fitzpatrick. Do you have any injuries? I don't think so. We can check. Ooh, Trent Williams, that's a big deal. Scooter broke his hand, by the way. He's out 5 weeks. Dante Jackson for the Cougars, that's a pretty big deal. Igbo is obviously already done for the year, which kind of sucks because he was being pretty good. 44 weeks, a torn ACL for Randall Cobb. Looks like the Niners are going to have Corey Davis back for the playoffs. Niners are probably going to get the 2 seed, I think, most likely. I think they could still get the 1, though. The Cougars have clinched for 1, but I don't think the Packers have. So the Cougars are literally the only team this week who are not playing for anything. Not playing for draft position, not playing for a wild card or a division. The Cougars can just chill out and relax. Raiders don't have any injuries, by the way. You could go 4-12 and make the playoffs in the AFC. Alrighty, so that... Oh, players of the week. I'm done. I knew I was forgetting something. Players of the week, we got Jordan Love, no surprise. Marcus Williams. Matt Ryan, okay. And Melvin Ingram. Alright, cool stuff. Time to change the depth chart. Did you guys win? You guys did win. So the Raiders are 8-7. You guys clinch a playoff spot with a win and still have a shot for the division. At the moment, you guys are the 5 seed. So Raiders will most likely be playing a playoff game this year. So that'll officially end the stream. I don't know when Week 17 will be. Maybe Saturday? I don't know, but Week 17 is going to be a bonanza. So that should be fun. And I will see you all soon. Peace.